What are measures for dealing with digital stress? If you know that digital stress might be a problem in your company, and it's a problem in most companies, what can you do about it? Well, there are 4 general steps you should take. First is sensitization. So you should work on raising the awareness of mental health, and especially in times of digitalization, of digital stress. And for that you might need information material for different target groups, so you might work with flyers, videos, podcasts, infographics, workshops and the like, to sensitize your workforce, especially your upper management, but the general company, for the topic of demands from digital work for digital stress. The next, you should work on the identification of fields of action. So you determine and assess the different fields of action. You need to think about which different demands from digital work are there. Well, there are 12 different ones, but which of these are most important, most intense for my specific company, my specific workforce, and potentially, depending on the size of the company, in different subsegments, at different workplaces, for different segments of the employees and so on. And there you need questionnaires, checklists, workshops and so on for making an in-detail assessment of the different demands and identify fields of action, what to do. Then you should implement the measures. So you should select, develop and implement suitable measures. For example, if you notice that unreliability is one of the most important demands from digital work, which stresses out your employees, then you should develop and implement measures to address unreliability. If it's invasion, then there will be different measures you should take on that. And there you should probably go for root cause analysis of these problems. And then there are, in academic literatures, catalogs of possible measures you can take. There are good practices you can use for addressing these different stresses. But as said, depending on which of these demands are most important, depending on your business model, your corporate structure, your workplaces, your employees and the like, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but you need very detailed and targeted measures for precisely the problems to mental health, to digital stress you might have in the company. And then finally, you should work on the effectiveness control. You should monitor the progress of implementing the measures, and you should evaluate the effectiveness for contributing to overall societal learning on what's effective against digital stress, but more specifically on knowing in the individual company, with your corporate culture, your workforce and so on, what are really effective measures, what should you continue, what might you need to change. And there again, it goes back to questionnaires, workshops, interview guidelines and the like. So it's pretty close to the identification of the issues, the same methodologies you use here to track effectiveness and control. To sum up the discussion on digital stress, here are at least 4 key takeaways on digital stress. Stress outcomes are manifold. While stress might increase short-term productivity in some cases, so stress is not always bad. In the short term it might be good, it might activate you, it might help you deliver good performance. It may impair long-term productivity, long-term job satisfaction, as well as psychological and physiological health. So short-term stress might be good, it's not always, but it might be. But excessive stress over extended periods of time, that's a problem for a whole variety of reasons. And stress is the result of an imbalance between resources and demands. And as it's an imbalance between these two, you can work on either side. You can lower the demand or you can increase the resources. Both might put the scale in balance again. Stress is highly individual. What stresses you might not stress others, and what helps somebody else might not help you. So you should think about the source of your individual stress and what you can do about it. And if you want to help others about it, then you need to think about the source of their individual stress and their individual resources and see what you can do about it. And finally, you can do something about stress. Your stress and other stress. So you should be aware of your daily stressors. You should take time to think about why you're stressed and make plans to change the root of the problem. But also you can do something about the stress of others. So especially if you're in a responsible position in a corporation, you should think about how can you help your subordinates, your colleagues, the entire company to tackle this increasing problem of digital stress which we see in times of digital transformation.